Welcome to RAAONLINE. I am Dr. Jay Kumar. Today I am going to take you through the drugs modulating serotonergic system. So here the competency we are going to discuss is to list the different types of serotonin receptors based on its characteristic features, and we are going to classify what are the drugs that is going to be acting as a receptor agonist as well as the antagonist we are going to see, and its pharmacological actions of the serotonin modulating drugs. And finally, we are going to discuss the management of migraine. So this is going to be a very important topic. So coming to the introduction, serotonin is the largest neurotransmitter receptor family. So it has got so many subtypes actually. And Spammer in 1930, he actually identified the presence of this serotonin in the enterochromaffin cells. So if you take the enterochromaffin cells in the gastrointestinal system, it is the 90% of the serotonin is produced from that place. And Page and colleagues isolated serotonin from the blood. If you take the chemistry, it is structured 3-beta-aminoethyl 5-hydroxy-indole. So it is basically indole derivatives. And one of the important significance here is, in case of carcinoid tumor, this 5-hydroxy-indole acetic acid, which is a metabolite, which is excreted in the urine, the levels will be high in case of carcinoid tumor. So that is one clinical importance. So coming to the physiological roles of the serotonin. So basically it has got three major systems, it has got its effects. The main thing is, first, it regulates the smooth muscles in the cardiovascular system as well as the gastrointestinal tract. So next thing is, it enhances the platelet aggregations, because if you see the serotonin, they mainly synthesize from outside, but it is taken up inside the platelets and it is stored. Whenever there is a endothelial damage or platelet aggregation happens, the serotonin will be released, and which is responsible for the aggregation as well. And third one is mainly it plays a role as a neurotransmitter in the CNS. It is stored in the vesicles along with the substance P, okay, and the co-transmitters like that. So the three most important physiological functions of this serotonin are, so it mainly acts on the smooth muscles in the cardiovascular and GIT, responsible for the platelet aggregation, and also it serves as a neurotransmitter. Coming to the synthesis of serotonin. Okay. So the tryptophan, basically it is obtained from the diet. So this tryptophan undergoes converted to 5-hydroxytryptophan in the presence of enzyme tryptophan hydroxylase. And this 5-hydroxytryptophan, they get converted to 5-hydroxytryptamine, which is otherwise called as serotonin, by the dopa decarboxylase enzyme, because it is a catecholamine. This enzyme is common for metabolism of the catecholamines like even dopamine, norepinephrine, like that. So once the serotonin is formed, it gets metabolized by two pathways. The major pathway undergoes through the enzyme aldehyde dehydrogenase, and it gets converted to 5-hydroxy-indole acetic acid. But the intermediate step, you got the aldehyde, then finally it gets converted to 5-hydroxy-indole acetic acid, and this is the major metabolic pathway. Whereas when you see the minor pathway which takes through the route of aldehyde reductase, it forms 5-hydroxytryptophan. So this is a major important metabolism of the serotonin, and this 5-hydroxy-indole acetic acid, which I told you, clinically important, because enterochromaffin cells, if there is a tumor in that is why we call it carcinoid tumor. Okay, so in that case more serotonin will be produced, and this serotonin, what happens? Finally they get metabolized and forms the hydroxy-indole acetic acid, which is excreted in the urine. So urinary levels of this 5-hydroxy-indole acetic acid will be highly raised in case of carcinoid tumor. So that is one of the lab investigations which normally they do. And one more important thing is, this serotonin serves as a precursor for even melatonin. Okay, so this 5-hydroxytryptamine gets converted to melatonin, that is a separate pathway, and melatonin is responsible for stimulating the melatonin which is in the pineal gland, and they are responsible for induction of sleep. So if you take this serotonergic receptors, initially Gadam and Piccarelli, they classified these serotonin receptors based on the two types. One is the neurotropic type, right, which is present in the parasympathetic nerve endings, and this is called as M type, and then musculotropic D type, which is present in the smooth muscle. So actually we have seen that before, like mainly serotonin plays a role in the smooth muscles of the GIT and cardiovascular system. That means vascular smooth muscle, it will contract. Okay, so based on that, it is called as musculotropic because of the presence in the smooth muscle. And if it is present in the nerve endings, especially the parasympathetic nerves, they are called as neurotropic, which is the M type. This is how they classified initially by Gadam and Piccarelli. But later, once radioligand binding studies was carried out, they found out nearly 1 to 7 families of serotonin types they have found based on the cloning of the receptors, DNA. So the 5-HT1-2-4, they come under the G protein coupled receptors, the mechanism of action, whereas 5-HT3, they come through the ligand gated ion channels. So the first 1, 2, 3 and 4 plays a clinical role actually, whereas the 5, 6, 7, the place they say it is mainly present in the CNS, but the functions is not well established. So we are going to see only this 4 types of subtype receptors and what are the drugs that is targeting these types.